everyone. Welcome to episode 41 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. Before we get started, if you want, follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. Rate, review this podcast on iTunes, Podbean, or wherever else you guys get your podcast. I do apologize for not putting out a show last week. For those of you who don't know, I do work at a major retailer, and with it being Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all that, we did have to do some major preparations, so I was busy pretty much all night Wednesday night, so I couldn't get around to watching NXT until this past Monday. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night I watched it. So I'm going to review last week's episode and then this past week's episode. So it might be a little longer. I do apologize again. So the episode that aired on November 25th was main evented by Bayley defending her NXT Women's Championship against Ava Marie. We also had Dash and Dawson against the Vaudevillians in a rematch for the NXT Tag Team Championship. The show began with a not welcome face of Michael Cole in the ring. He said with William Regal out recovering from back surgery, he's the one in charge for right now. He was in there with the table, getting ready for the contract signing, but he also mentioned that William Regal did not want the Women's Championship match to happen, but with the rule of corporate, and that was a theme throughout this whole show, that they were going to have the Ava Marie vs. Bayley match. Michael Cole went to introduce Samoa Joe first, but Finn Balor's music hit. He walked down to the ring, and he said that in this business, friendship and trust is a rarity. And he wanted Samoa Joe to come down, look him in the eye while he signs the contract. Joe eventually did come down, walked down, did not look Finn Balor in the eye, signed the contract, and then walked back up the ramp. I love that part. Just shows that Samoa Joe is focused. He wants the NXT Championship, and he's not going to play to Finn Balor's games. Finn Balor was pissed about that. He signed the contract, walked back up, and then Samoa Joe attacked him from behind. They went back to the ring, and Samoa Joe locked in the Coquina Clutch again. Like I said, it was just a great segment. Finn Balor just is getting his emotions are getting the best of him here. He wants to get his revenge, but Samoa Joe is focused on the task at hand, and that is the NXT Championship. So the first match was Dash and Dawson and the Vaudevillians for the NXT Tag Team Championship. The Vaudevillians were in control early. A little bit happened. Like I said, it's last week's episode. You guys already seen this, so I'm not going to go into much detail here. Dash and Dawson did go for their finisher, but Aiden took out Dash Wilder. English and Gotch attempted the Whirly Dervish, but that was broken up as well. The Tag Team Champions eventually hit their finisher to get the win and retain their NXT Tag Team Championship. Very fast-paced. I don't think this match went more than 5 minutes, so they were able to squeeze a lot of good spots in there in their short amount of time. The only thing that I had negative to say is that Dash and Dawson's excessive use of that limb targeting, especially on the legs, can get a little boring at times because it's very repetitive. There's really not much they do. There's a lot of moves that you can do to target the leg, but it's just the excessive use of knee stomps and like knee holds and all that kind of stuff. That just kind of bores me in those segments, especially when they're long and drawn out like they were in this match. And this obviously takes the Vaudevillains out of the title contention. But after this match was over, Dash and Dawson were heading up the ramp, and Enzo and Cass's music hit. They walked down and attacked the champs. They took them out and then celebrated, which this is obviously going to lead to a tag team match at TakeOver, which they announced on this past week's episode. But like I said, I'm a week behind. This is an obvious match, obvious storyline. I knew this is where they were going when they took Cass out about a month ago. I just wish they pulled the trigger on this match back in Brooklyn, because Cass and Enzo seem to have worn out their welcome in NXT. I'm not saying that they're not welcomed as far as the fans. They love them. They're still into their act. But as far as their run as NXT Tag Team Champions, they definitely could have did that in Brooklyn at the latest, maybe even a year ago. I don't know why they waited so long. It just seems a little too late in their NXT tenure. Tom Phillips interviewed Ava Marie about her match tonight. She went on about something I wasn't really listening. But then she introduced her good friend Nia Jax. So this kind of pairs into what they were talking about a few weeks ago when Ava Marie and Nia were talking in the hallway. And this is just one more domino in front of Bayley for this match. A vignette aired for, I believe it was Elias Sampson playing his guitar. He was singing a song just referencing some past characters, or past NXT champions, like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Adrian Neville. Second match was Asuka versus Dana Brooke. Dana cut a promo before the match while Asuka was in the ring. Emma attacked her from behind. Asuka was able to land a kick, but Emma came back and slammed Asuka head first into the mat. Dana and Emma walked back up the ramp after she locked in the Emma lock, and they left Asuka in the ring. after the beating, Asuka was able to get to her feet, and she had a very sinister-looking smile on her face, so that doesn't bode well for Emma. I'm not a big fan of Dana Brooke, but I do like this pairing between Emma and Dana Brooke. They're definitely the best heels on the roster. Samoa Joe just got there, so I'm not going to put him in that category. But as far as their evil act, just picking on Asuka, they're two bitches, to be honest, and they're doing a really good job at it. Tom Phillips then caught up with Bayley. She said that she's a wrestler and Ava Marie is not. Some other things that she said, that she's going to come out the winner tonight. Typical stuff. Sami Zayn hype video. So he'll be returning soon. There was no date yet announced, but I'm just happy that we're going to get another top babyface back on the NXT roster, because I think we need them. It's Finn Balor and then Apollo Cruz, and then it kind of just trickles down from there. So having Sami Zayn back in the mix, Sami Zayn against Samoa Joe, that would be an awesome match. Third was Apollo Cruz versus Jesse Sorensen. Cruz held up Jesse in a suplex position for about 20 seconds. I didn't count. The crowd was counting for me. He later hit a corner splash and a clothesline off the ropes. He had Jesse in a back suplex position, spun him around, and then landed a sit-out powerbomb to win. If that's his new finisher, that's pretty awesome, because I wasn't a fan of the whole military press and then standing moonsault. It was impressive, but as a finisher, I didn't care for it. So this spin-out powerbomb move, I like it a lot better. Oh, and after the match, Cruz accepted Corbin's challenge for a match at TakeOver. After that, Corbin cut a promo on Cruz accepting his challenge. He said that Cruz is going to be an answer to a trivia question, because he'll be that one guy who did that one thing one time. Baron Corbin is filling into this heel role very nicely. He's cutting a lot better promos, very short, succinct, to the point, and he's a great heel. I like it a lot. So, before the title match began, WWE referee Charles Robinson walked down, and he said he was sent out here by corporate to make sure that there was no controversy in this NXT Women's Championship match. So again, corporate being involved in this match, having the backing of Ava Marie, just stacking the deck against Bayley. And before this match got started, it was announced that Samoa Joe would take on Tommaso Ciampa next week. So in the match, Nia Jax was at ringside. Bayley quickly hit a belly-to-Bayley suplex, but as the referee was counting, Nia pulled the ref out of the ring. Ava got a roll-up. Charles Robinson ran in, almost counted a 3 count. There was a couple spots in this match that I read the spoilers, so I knew that wasn't the case, but there was a couple spots that I thought Ava was actually going to win, which would have pissed me off and a lot of fans off, because this crowd from the get-go was riled up, waiting for a screwy finish on Bayley. Nia headbutted Bayley. She got involved as the ref was distracted. Ava attempted about 3 pins in a row. There was a chant of Eva wins re-riot. Bayley landed a running clothesline, Northern Light suplex. She went for a corner splash, but Robinson stopped her, saying that Eva was in the ropes. Ava Marie then hit sliced bread number 2 and got another near fall. Bayley shoved Ava into Charles Robinson. She went for a super belly to Bayley, but Nia held her foot. She took out Nia Jax and then was able to hit the super belly to Bayley suplex. The original ref who got knocked out by Nia Jax ran down and counted the 3. Little screwy. There's been comparisons from this match to the Steve Austin Do Love match from Over the Edge, which I could see how it happens. The referee being in his corner, he had Nia Jax at ringside. Trying to think. I mean, those are probably the biggest comparisons, just everything against Bayley. But it was all Bayley. She carried this match. Obviously, Ava still sucks in the ring. She's still very hesitant, doesn't look very fluid, just going through the motions. But I like the way that they play this off, because Ava she's a heat magnet at this point. Anything that she does, she can't talk without the crowd booing her. Her entrance, they're all booing her. So putting Bayley against her in this role, it made sense to get Bayley over as that underdog babyface. But after the match, Nia hit Bayley with 2 leg drops and then held up the NXT Women's Championship. And Bayley was left laying in the ring as the show closed. So I'm assuming this is going to be a takeover match. We get a little more into it this past week's episode. But overall, it was a decent week. Only 4 matches. So nothing really major. A couple backstage segments. We got a Sami Zayn hype video. So there's a lot of pieces. This past week episode, there's a lot to cover. So let me get into that. So the episode that aired on December 2nd, we had the main event of Tommaso Ciampa versus Samoa Joe. This was a fully packed episode. There was a lot that went on here. Baron Corbin defeated Ty Dillinger. They say that Corbin's from Kansas City. This is just a side note. But they don't say what Kansas City is. Is it the one in Missouri or the one in Kansas? I need to know. I need to know this stuff. Ty landed a couple chops, but Corbin caught him with a huge spinning side slam. Ty came back with a nice Luthez press and connected with the super kick. Ty went to jump off the ropes. Corbin caught him and then turned it into the end of days to win. Average match. Ty Dillinger had a couple hope spots, but nothing really major. This is all about Baron Corbin, as we are 2 weeks away from TakeOver London. Kyle Edwards then interviewed Apollo Cruz. He said that he and Balor will be facing Corbin and Joe next week. Apollo Cruz wasn't concerned about Finn Balor's condition, but he's concerned about destroying Baron Corbin, which is nice. He's definitely focused at the task at hand, which is his opponent. But why not be concerned for your partner? Because if you lose that match, I don't know, momentum does carry over in this business, so you might want to see if your partner's all right. Tommaso Ciampa was then interviewed about Joe's recent change in attitude. Second match, Nia Jax against Blue Pants. Blue Pants had some new music. I didn't like it. I preferred the original Colin Cassidy version, but this one was alright. Nia Jax toyed with Blue Pants for a little bit. Blue Pants attempted to come back, but Jax caught her with a shoulder breaker and an elbow drop. She then hit a huge Samoan drop and a leg drop to get the win. Really not much to this match. Dash and Dawson had a sit-down interview with Tom Phillips. During the interview, Tom announced that Dash and Dawson will defend their tag titles against Enzo and Cass. And I believe it was Dawson that said why, which is a legit question. They haven't done anything but attack the champs from behind. They haven't beaten anyone. They haven't done anything to deserve it. They went on a couple other things about taking out Cass's other knee or something like that. But it makes sense. What have they done? Third match. These matches were short this week, so they were able to fit a lot in. You had James Storm defeat Adam Rose. Rose landed a cheap shot and began his turn on offense. Storm made a comeback with a nice atomic drop and a clothesline. He landed his running neck breaker and the last call super kick, which they did call by name. I think Corey Graves made the joke. It's my favorite time of night, last call, and he got the win. Another squash match, but I was happy to see James Storm back in an NXT ring. Wish they would make it a little more permanent, like Samoa Joe's turned it into, but I can't be begging. I'll take whatever I can get from James Storm right now. The Vaudevillians were then asked about their match against Chad Gable and Jason Jordan tonight. Gotch said they'll win, but after he said that, Jordan and Gable appeared on camera. Jason Jordan said that they're good, really good. Gable would say some would even say they're great. He then said the fans are the real winners here, and Jason Jordan actually started the Ready, Willing, and Gable. Chad finished it off, and then aided, said, and Manly, and the two teams shook hands. Little nice show of respect there. Jason Jordan starting to warm up to Chad Gable and his little Ready, Willing, and Gable. So it's very, you can see the chemistry between these two. If you watch Breaking Ground, you can see it growing. These two have fun together. They look like they're having the time of their lives in the ring. So the match was up next, the Vaudevillains against Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. The match started off with a bit of mat wrestling between both teams. You saw Aiden English taunt on the top, but Jason Jordan caught him with a knee smash and a nice dragon screw. Again, focusing on the knee that Dash and Dawson took out last month when they first won the titles. But Aiden English was able to get control back for his team when he tossed Chad Gable over the ropes. Gable got the hot tag to Jason Jordan. He took out both English and Gotch with some suplexes and tosses. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable then hit the assisted belly to back to get the win. After the match, Jordan and Gable went to put out their hands again, but the Vaudevillains simply turned around and walked away. So the crowd booed them a little bit. Good tag team match. I was concerned who the crowd was going to cheer for because they're both fan favorites, Vaudevillains and Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, but by the end of this, they were completely behind Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. And I actually like the turn. We've seen it before, though, with the Vaudevillains. They had a brief heel turn, but I think this one makes a little more sense. You have Jason Jordan and Chad Gable who've become fan favorites when they were supposed to be heels. The crowd I think they just love Chad Gable. You have Enzo and Cass right behind them as well. Having the third team on the face side, I wasn't sure how the Vaudevillains would fit there. But on the heel side, you have Dash and Dawson as the champs. You have Blake and Murphy who have taken a step back a little bit, and then you could slot the Vaudevillains right in there. And it can make for a very interesting dynamic. Then these two teams going at it again, Vaudevillains versus Enzo and Cass, which I think we've seen before when Simon Gotch was first introduced, but can't hurt to always go back. The NXT Tag Team division is getting there. It's still a work in progress, but it's a leaps and bounds better than where it was a year ago. Emma and Dana talked about their attack on Asuka last week. Emma went to answer, but Dana took over and called it their wake-up call to Asuka. We had another airing of the Elias Sampson vignette from last week. Fifth match was Emma versus Liv Morgan. She was the same chick a couple weeks ago that was from New Jersey. They actually gave her a full entrance this week and changed her name. And Corey Graves talked shit about New Jersey for some reason. Rich Brennan said that 90% of the people in Orlando are actually from the Northeast, which is pretty funny and accurate as well. The commentary is actually better this match, hence why my recap is more commentary than the actual match itself. Emma locked in the dilemma and then hit the Emma Mite Sandwich. Liv tried to make a comeback, but Emma ended it with the Emma Lock and made her tap. After the match, Asuka was shown on the screen kicking a body bag. She then pulled it to the side and said, "Emma, see you in London." And the crowd immediately began chanting, "Asuka's going to kill you." Emma had a bit of look of concern on her face, and for good reason. But as for the match, it was more of the same from what we've seen on this show. You had, obviously, the main one person getting the focus as far as their match leading into TakeOver, and the other person getting some offense in, but the main attraction as far as in this match, it was Emma. In the tag match, Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, James Storm, obviously, Nia Jax gets the win, and Baron Corbin gets the win. So it was a lot of one-sided matches, which kind of sort of take its toll on me because there wasn't really much intrigue in these matches themselves. Alex Reyes, the new backstage interviewer, which they decided not to tell me his name until the last segment he was in, he caught up with Bayley about her recent matches and then brought up Nia Jax's attack last week. She said she's willing to take the challenge head on. Nia Jax appeared, stared down Bayley, and then walked away. Bayley repeated the last line about accepting any challenge, and then Nia Jax attacked her from behind. So I'm assuming this is going to lead to the women's title match at TakeOver as well. And the sixth and final match this week, Joe against Tommaso Ciampa. Samoa Joe wore down Ciampa's left arm, and he knocked him back with a huge forearm to the head. These two were very aggressive in this match. I don't know if it's because of what they wanted to do or just they didn't hold back their punches, but it just looked like they were going to kill each other in this match. They went back and forth with some knife-edge chops. Ciampa slapped Joe across the face about 4 times, and they connected with a heel kick. Joe was able to break free of a submission. He carried Ciampa with one arm into the corner and then kicked him in the head like Holly Holm did to Ronda Rousey. That's how hard this kick looked. It was vicious. He landed his one-arm slam in the corner and then hit the muscle buster and then finally made Tommaso Ciampa tap with the coquina clutch. Like I said, it was just a vicious match. The strikes and kicks from both men just looked like they landed in the sweet spot. And they sounded good, too. They just had some power behind them. It was a war, to be honest. It was a good showing from both men, but it was obviously Samoa Joe's turn to win as he gets ready for the TakeOver match in 2 weeks. It was a good show overall, a lot better than last week, but it was just a lot more to cover. 6 matches, a lot of interview segments. I think they could have taken away one of the matches and maybe gave the main event a couple more minutes. But overall, it's just getting everyone focused for TakeOver in 2 weeks. So as far as TakeOver, we have the updated card. It'll be Emma versus Asuka, Dash and Dawson versus Enzo and Cass for the NXT Tag Team titles, Bayley versus Nia Jax. I'm assuming this is actually not official yet. We also have Apollo Crews versus Baron Corbin and Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe for the NXT title. From what I remember, the only match announced for next week is going to be Apollo Crews and Balor against Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin, which should be a great match in and of itself. All right, so that was episode 41. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, rate and review the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, wherever else you guys get your podcast. Follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. I'll be back around the same time next week with the Go Home Show to take over London. Peace.